Greetings, QCS build fans, and welcome to another unboxing. So, I think I'm going to start doing more of these with bigger, fancier hardware, just because of the fact that it's really hard. Sometimes the stock photos on either Amazon or Newegg or whatever are really hard to get an idea of what's actually in the box. And sometimes I don't give good shots of like specifications and stuff like that for voltage and everything else. So I think I'm going to do a few more of these down the road. So at least stuff that's interesting. So, and I thought this one was kind of interesting. So this is the EVGA SuperNOVA 1300 G Plus. Well, G Plus is for Gold Plus because it's 80 plus gold, but this particular power supply is just short of being platinum. And so that's kind of why they call it G Plus. So but you can see this is the 80 plus gold rated curve, and this is the actual curve for North America for all the special people that are on 115, 110 volts. For everybody else, you know, you get a little better efficiency. So, yeah, lucky you. But, anyways, all right. So let's open this thing up here. Now, I got two of these. One right now is sitting inside the mining rig. The other one, which is this one, is going to be in it very soon. So, as soon as I get the rest of it ready to go. Let's turn this around. Okay, so you can see we've got our magic manual, which is, you know, pretty decent. It's in, I think, 3 or 4 different languages. Kind of the usual suspects: Dutch, English, Italian, Portuguese, French, Spanish. So, and then this one is for the 1300, the 1600, and the 2000. So, which I can tell you, that guy, bloody expensive. Hence, I don't have one. That, and you have to have like 220 outlets to run it, or not 220, but you have to have 20 amp certified outlets or something like that. Anyways, all right. So this is the unit itself. You don't need that. I know I'm not going to eat it later. Okay. This nice little baggie. So, which I always think is nice because I will take the extra cables that I don't use and I will put those back in this to store them in. So, voila, there we go. So, we can go ahead and take this off because we don't need it. But here is your grill, your fan, and it's a pretty good size fan. Looks like a 140 millimeter fan on this, and even at full load on the 12 volt rail, this thing does not get very hot. It really does not put out a whole heck of a lot of hot air. So, but see, you can see 12 volt, you're basically just shy of 1300 watts on the 12 volt rail. And then 120 watts combined for the 3.3 and the 5 volt. So that's actually pretty good. But yeah, this one actually has full usable, basically 1300 watts on the 12 volt side, which is awesome because we're using this for mining, and that is freaking ideal. One thing you'll notice is you have an eco. Eco's fine if you're using it inside of like a game rig or something like that. Our use, we'll leave it off. It's got this really big, heavy power switch on the back of it, but you'll notice that it actually has the 15/20 amp high current cable connection here. So it comes with a power cable specifically for this. This is not your standard power cable, which looks like this. So you can see this won't fit. Yeah, it specifically comes with a heavy gauge power cable. So, but yeah, that is pretty much it as far. Whoops, I guess we got to get to the business end of it. So, fully modular. You've got 2 CPU 8 pins, 6 VGA 8 pins, two of the VGA 8-pin cables come with the splitters pre-built into them. The other 4 do not. Let's see, you got your SATAs, and then your peripheral. Your peripheral is actually basically it's 4-pin Molex, so for peripheral. And then there is an adapter for floppy, so in case you really needed it. But and then this is your typical motherboard connection. So, all right, well that's that. We can set that there for now. All right, so then we get to the goodie box, and in the goodie box, and this is a pretty decent heavy box actually. So but here's the goodie box, and this is kind of neat. They go through and they wrap up all the cables with their EVGA Velcro wraps, which is kind of nice because then you can take and use these to cable manage on the inside of your case, which that's honestly kind of cool. All right, so this one here has got, all right, so this is one of the peripheral, both of the peripheral cables. Okay, so this is your 6-pin and the labeled periph. And these, as you can see, there are 3 Molex connectors per line. So there's that. And then this is your 8-pin VGAs, and they have these are the 2 that have the splitters on them, so you can daisy chain them together. So, and one thing I've noticed with the cable, I mean, I believe it's, let's see, let's read it here. It's 18 gauge cable, but it's fairly stiff. So, pretty high quality 18 gauge. It's not your typical, like some power supplies, you'll get the really cheesy 18 gauge, and it's really soft and super pliable. It's probably underrated. 18. This is probably very well rated 18 gauge. So there's that. I'll wrap this one back up. All right, there's that one. And then right here, so this is the rest basically of, so this is one of the CPUs in here. So there we go. They're kind of in bunches. So all right, so these are your VGAs. Okay. Now, of course, on the VGAs, you can always tell which end goes to which, because the solid 8-pin end goes to the power supply. The 6+2 end goes to the video card. The one thing I did notice is that these are pinned identically the same, so you can reverse the cable. It honestly will probably work just fine. You probably wouldn't blow anything up, but I'd recommend not trying it necessarily. So, and then there's your VGA, and then these are all pretty long, so you can see that, you know, these are good 24 inches, pretty close. Let's see, Here's our mod mat here, and oh no, they're longer than that. These are a good 30 inches in length. So yeah, you got, so even if you've got like a really big full-size ATX tower, you'll be just fine. And then these guys, that's one CPU, that's the other CPU, and then there's one of the VGA without the splitter on it, so it's just a straight VGA, or PC. It says VGA, it's actually PCI Express. So there you go. All right, wrap these up. Okay, so then you have your motherboard cables. So that is your adapter. It's your Molex to floppy or zip or whatever. Let's see, what else? Oh, if you have a like a multimedia card reader, sometimes I use the old style floppy power connection on it. There's that. The big cable, of course, is your ATX 24 volt or 24 pin. So this is the power supply side. That's your 24 pin there. And you'll notice this is not a 20+4, this is a 24. So one thing to keep in mind of if you're thinking you're going to connect this to an older machine, make sure you've got enough clearance on the one side to be able to do it. Because it may not work. Or an older motherboard, I should say. Okay. Alright, and then the rest, these are our SATAs. So SATA, SATA, and SATA. And then you have three SATA connectors for each line on these. So, okay, in which you have 4, so you can hook up 12 SATA devices without splitters, which is usually more than enough for about anything. And there's the important part. So this, you can see this is a super heavy gauge power cable. This thing's got some heft to it. So if we take like a regular cheapy cable and compare it, yeah, it's about 2 to 2.5 times bigger than your standard cheapy cable. So for like a monitor or something. Let's see if we have it is a king cord, 105C rated, 300 volts rating, 14 gauge, 3 by 14 gauge. So you have it's 14 gauge cable. Usually with these, this is like, with these cheaper ones, it's usually like 16. Or, oh no, this is 18. So this is 18 gauge cable inside of your standard cheap power cord. So it's 3 of those inside here. This is 14. 14's like, that's pretty good. That's pretty close. That's about how big 14 is. 14's pretty good size. So that'll pack some current. And let's see. Oh, okay. So then we got our mounting screws, which come in silver. Of course, if you're mounting it into a black case, you're going to have black screws that come with the case. Or if you're like me, you're going to have a whole bunch of extras. And then this is your jumper start plug. This is one cool thing that comes with all the Supernovas that I've seen in the EVGA line, is they all come with this this jump plug, which is really cool because if you're doing a high-end build, especially with like water cooling, closed loop, open loop, anything like that, where you, or like a whole lot of RGB, where you want to be able to fire up the power supply without having to kick on the motherboard necessarily. You can you can turn it on and turn the power supply on, give yourself power, and it'll run your pumps and whatever else you got going on. So, which is really, really handy. So, yeah, that's a bonus. Okay, well, that's everything in the box. So, I can tell you right now that I've had one of these running for about 24 hours fully loaded on the mining rig, and it does not put out a lot of heat, and very solid power supply. These things are a total flat out beast of a power supply. They really are. Very solid, very well built. I would not expect you to ever have any issues at all whatsoever with one of these. So, and let's see, what is the warranty on it? Let's see. 24/7 tech support. That's always nice. Outstanding 10-year warranty. Yep. Of course, that's assuming you don't probably run it outside of spec for extremely long periods of time. But oddly enough, there was no warranty information in the manual, so you probably have to go online to read the entire EVGA warranty on it. So, interesting. Yep, 10-year warranty. It lists it right there on the box. Nowhere in the manual. That's odd. Oh well. I wouldn't expect many people probably end up using the warranty on these, because these are, again, like I said, these are really good power supplies. I would highly recommend these all day long. So, okay. Well, that's it. Stay tuned, and we'll do a mining rig update. We're going to get this guy installed along with the other one, and we'll catch you next time. Like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more unboxings. Bye for now.